I actually started writing songs when I was 7, and that's probably when I really started thinking like, hey, like I could do this forever.
Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Before the Money, baby. Let's fucking go.
Before the money, you know what it is.
Woo. We're back with another episode. Today we are joined by a super talented individual sitting next to me here. Tyra, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, I really appreciate you spending the time with us today because, like we said just before we started rolling, your songs have been bouncing around my head since I heard them. They're such earworms.
Damn, that's such a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, no, likewise. And speaking of songs, should we just jump straight through to a sample of your work? Should we just get that going so that people know what they're in for?
Best way to get our audience acquainted to what you're doing. So let's do it.
Awesome. Let it roll. Scott Man in the booth. Here it comes.
I know that she'd wanna keep it secret till she's stronger. Cause I feel the rhythm inside her. But she keeps being held down by the devil on the shoulder. Oops, but she's about to explode. You never know where she's gonna go, where she's gonna blow. Soon as she lets go, she is gone. You ain't never gonna touch her again, never again, never again. Sorry, singing on that stage. Tired of love, you can't help loving me now. Wish I could love you when I feel like. Guess we all know that shit ain't right. But in this life we don't got all time. I fall in love with all these souls. I don't know how, but I'm losing control. Too much loving, I give too much loving. Yeah, too much loving, I give too much loving. Demasiado amor, muchos amantes. Demasiado amor, muchos amantes. Demasiado amor, muchos amantes. Demasiado amor, muchos amantes.
Oh my God!
Oh, that first one, Reflections.
Reflections, yeah.
I found that one most recently. I think I heard it for the first time like 2 days ago, and I think that's my
for real?
Yeah.
Damn, thank you.
Sick.
I almost didn't put that one in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I was like,
why is that?
Thanking you did.
I just, like, I wasn't sure, like, if my voice was right for, like, the rap that I wrote. Yeah.
Oh, look. It was.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
That was
Did you hear the at the end, the Snoop reference?
No. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No, I mean, I was blown away. I don't. I'll have to listen to it many times to take it all in.
Yeah.
But because I was going through your music, and what I like is probably similar situation to what our band's in as well. Like, you hop around different genres. Like, you have so many different timbres, like, in your voice. You know, you're almost like a whole cast of characters in one human being, which is, like, very admirable.
That's why I really liked Reflections too, because, like, hearing you over, like, a fat 808 as well, it's like, you can literally do anything.
Thanks.
No,
Yeah.
cool.
Legit. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Tyra? Introduce yourself to the audience. We're starting to get to know you. You're obviously a very creative person. You're driven. That's why you're here on Before the Money, because, you know, that ambition is so apparent in you. So what is it that gets you excited?
I think I'm all about dreams. I'm all about being able to charm an audience. So I come from a street background. So I started busking straight after high school, and that kind of led me into getting gigs and stuff, and meeting producers and working with all kinds of people. And now recently, I've been getting into working with more instrumentalists, which has been such it's like an amazing new world that I'm entering, and I'm so grateful to, like, meet such talented people that know their instrument well. It's amazing to hear people put their souls into music that you've put your soul into.
Yeah.
It's so surreal. So that's probably the one thing that's really like so amazing to me right now. Just working with a band is really new to me, and it's the best thing that's happened to me.
And is music the end goal for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Has it always been the end goal?
It has been, yeah. I've always known that I wanted to do music, like ever since I was a 4-year-old. I had pictures of me like, I'm gonna be a singer.
Putting on shows for the parents and stuff.
Yeah,
you're one of them.
100%,
I don't know. I feel like our instruments choose us in a way. Like I have been, because obviously I'm a drummer, and I have just been such a fidget from like the time where I was old enough to move, basically. So as soon as I was put in a drum kit in grade 5, I just like fell in love with it. You know, I tried guitar, I tried a whole bunch of different things, and like I loved the idea of music, but I never went out of my way to play. Whereas as soon as I picked up drum, I was like, wait, noise, like fidgeting, perfect. That's me, baby. You know.
That's dope.
Yeah, it is good fun. But
Hearing you say that working with a band is like sitting so close to your heart right now is really cool, because I'm in the exact same position. Like having been working with the guys the last couple of months, it's very, very new, and it's completely different to what I was doing before, which was going to YouTube, finding a beat that I liked and recording myself over it. And now being a part of the whole creation process, and like even when we're in here jamming, one of my favorite things to do when we're jamming is just watch everybody having like such a good time.
Yeah.
And you like see everybody interacting with everybody while we're playing and stuff. And like you, Jack on drums and then Will on bass, because, you know, they're working with each other. I will see the moment where they both kill something and look at each other like, fuck yeah, we killed that. And I'm just on the side like, fuck yeah. It's super cool.
Yeah,
it's such
it
a
is.
different experience. And
It's so like fulfilling. It feels so good.
yeah.
And it's completely developing me as an artist as well. Like I'm opening up and trying
100%.
so much new stuff I never would have done before.
Yeah.
There's like
Absolutely.
a telepathy that comes when you're all making music together. That's the only word I could use to describe it.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, literally, just like that unconscious communication. Like like a twitch of the eye means so much when you're jamming together.
Yeah.
My twitchy eyes like, fuck.
I'm running out of breath. Yeah, no, it's like that. So you've started playing with a band recently. You've just got a residency down here on the Gold Coast. What restaurant was that again?
Oh yeah, nah, not anymore.
No,
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Before
on
the
to
money
bigger and better
exclusive.
things.
Yeah, no, it was cool though. It was
Yeah.
a good experience. I definitely learnt a lot from being there.
Yeah.
And I got evidence from the universe that like venues will pay that much, because that was the highest paid residency that I ever had. So much that I could bring in another musician to play with me and split it nicely. So it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for that gig, and it was awesome coming over to the Gold Coast and like going to the beach after and chilling and getting to see you guys that one time as well. That was dope.
Yeah, no, that was good. When was that? That was a party we had here.
It was meant to be the Mawavy gig.
Something like that.
Mawave.
Yeah.
The one that was over at Marquetta, and then we just brought it here instead because it got cancelled.
So where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Victoria.
Yeah.
I lived in Geelong for a while until I was around 5, then came to Brisbane. And then my dad had work in Townsville, so we all moved to Townsville, but it wasn't Townsville. It was like an hour and a half from Townsville. So it was this tiny little town where I didn't have many friends. There was like 23 children at the school.
23
Wow.
children.
Yeah, and it was really country, and like they all called me like city slicker and stuff. So I was like a bit of a loner, but it was good because it gave me so much time to like work on, like I was writing poems at that time and
Wow.
lyrics and art and getting into cross country a lot. So that was really cool. And then I came back to Brisbane, and I've been in Brisbane ever since.
Have you enjoyed like the city experience again? Because I know personally, like I come from like a country background, like that's where I grew up, And then I moved, from country into Sydney for like a bunch of years, and I was in heaven. Literally just being right in the heart of a city. There's always something going on. Everybody is represented. Everyone kind of has a voice to a certain extent and has like a crowd that they can be their full authentic selves in. Whereas when you're in a small place like out in the country, like there's a definite mold, and it feels like if you're not in that mold, all eyes are on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And the Gold Coast is even that way inclined sometimes as well. We're a little beach town at the end of the day. We just got a couple of high rises now.
Yeah, true.
We look so much bigger than we are, I realise, down on the Gold Coast. Like, everybody knows everybody.
True.
It's a tiny place.
Yeah. I mean, that's Brisbane too. Brisbane's pretty small. Everyone like kind of knows everyone too. Yeah.
Once you're in a place for like, even a year, you kind of know it like the back of your hand.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was cool. I mean, I learned to drive properly in Sydney because like you've got to seriously pay attention because everyone is like manic. Have you ever been to Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like being on the roads in Europe and everyone's just like, it's like a free for all and you just got to try not to get hit or hit someone.
Yeah.
Like I remember we were in a taxi. You know that massive roundabout in front of the Arc de Triomphe in France? Literally.
Oh yeah.
The roundabout's like 7 lanes thick, and it's like if you get caught in the center, you're just like going around and around and around.
Apparently, there's a collision on that roundabout approximately every 11 minutes.
What?
There's a collision of some sort. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, literally.
That's hectic.
What a stupid design.
Yeah, what? That's so strange.
Yeah. So, what has your musical journey been like up to this point?
You want me to start from like the very, very beginning?
This is your show, baby.
Okay. Well, I would have to start with my mom. Mm-hmm. She really influenced me. She, being from South America, the music that she played was obviously very South American, lots of Spanish, and she forced me to learn Spanish, and I'm like, oh, thank you. So it's been good being able to put that into my music a lot more lately, and I want to do way more, especially with now that I'm getting to know more instrumentalists, I can get some real like Latin flavors in there. But she introduced me to the stage when I was 4 years old. She was a Latin dancing teacher when she came to Australia, and she had little groups that she would teach, like young women, all different styles of Latin dance, and then I would be her little mascot. So she would dress me up in the same clothes, like little frills and stuff like that. And like when they'd go out and do competitions, she'd tell me what to do, and I'd go up on stage as the first like person on stage, and everyone would be like, oh, little tiny Latin dancer. Yeah, so that was cool. I feel like that's definitely influenced the way that... Yeah.
Did you think you were kind of like too young to be nervous back then, or were you...
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my mom's like, she's like trained me. Like, it's crazy. Like, she's a Leo. I don't know if you're into like star signs and stuff, but like, she's a Leo. I'm a Pisces, and apparently in my like birth chart, in order for me to like find success in my career, I need to adopt more Leo traits. Which is like, Leo's really like, look at me.
Yeah.
And there's Pisces like thinking and dreaming and stuff. So, yeah, it's funny. I have a lot of Leos in my life. And, of course, my mom being like the main Leo in my life, she's helped me a lot. She takes photos of me all the time. Ever since I was little, like, no, you got to put your hand like this. She basically told me how to model and stuff. And it's
turning into
awesome.
A little rock star.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you were doing a little bit of dancing, just dabbling in the creative arts. You mentioned like poetry and all that kind of stuff from a young age. When did you start getting into, kind of making your own music and starting to build what the early visions of what that dream has become?
Well, I actually started writing songs when I was 7, and that's probably when I really started thinking like, hey, like I could do this forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents got me a little keyboard that year when I turned 7 for Christmas, and that's when I really started like writing songs and playing on the piano and stuff.
were you writing like chords with lyrics, or were you just playing around on a piano? Like, what was the process back then?
It was like, because I never had any lessons or anything. I was just playing around. So I did have some chords, but I would say they were probably like really pop, like basic. That was like the only thing I knew back then.
Four chords.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I used to like model off songs that I would like. So I'd like play a song that I liked through headphones or something, and then just kind of like play along with it and just see what I could do. Sometimes it was trying to play an instrument that I could hear, and other times it was like, what if I was going to add an instrument to it? Where would it go?
Yeah, well, that's kind of a little bit like what we've been doing this last week. We just come in here with some inspiration from particular songs we like, and we're like, okay, how can we, take that inspiration and turn it into something that's our sound? I feel like that's the way creativity is almost made to work, because nothing is unique in the world of creativity. It all stems from something.
Yeah,
whether intentionally or unintentionally. There's just so much influence that comes into it. Like, could you imagine trying to come up with a chord that's never been invented before? Like,
it probably just wouldn't sound right, like ever. Even if it was, I guess if it was theoretically right, then it would be a chord already. But like, it just wouldn't be right. It's like try and think of a new color.
Apparently purple isn't actually a color. It's a perception. Like, it's a human mind.
Yeah, that's trippy stuff. Apparently we only see like 2% of reality. Yeah. So imagine like
what else is going on.
And I know I mentioned it in like an episode that we did ages ago, but I remember reading or listening to something about this deep sea. No, it was some kind of shrimp.
Pistol shrimp.
That's what it was.
What is that?
And so it's just you wait.
Oh,
so
damn.
the pistol shrimp has like 48,000 times more color receptors in their eyes than the human eye does. So could you imagine what the world would look like through a pistol shrimp's eyes?
I reckon you'd see it if you took a fuckload of mushrooms.
Maybe they're just tripping all the time.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about pistol shrimp is, so they have one claw which is like real fat. Yeah. And they can snap it closed so fast that they can like crack glass with it.
Really?
It's like a couple of
things
1,000
around
degrees.
it. Yeah.
Like in the impact point, it's like a couple of 1,000 degrees, and they like shoot it at prey to kill them.
Whoa.
Yeah. Pistol shrimp.
I wish we had some cool shit like that.
Damn.
Yeah, just
that's full like weapon.
I don't know how the fuck we got on marine biology.
Oh my god, I actually wanted to be a marine biologist at one point.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So why didn't you pursue that career?
Because it has lots of maths.
Yeah. Lots of writing, lots of reading.
Yeah, so much theory.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
It's like that. And like, it's so fun to create. It is so fun to create.
Yeah.
And you'd be making the music probably in your spare time anyway. So
yeah, of course. I mean, it's never too late. I want to get a microscope when the time is right. I just find like just all kinds of science just so fascinating.
Have you got a telescope?
No, I always wanted a telescope. My brother gave me one, but he said he didn't know how to use it, and I've been trying to use it. I think it's just a really cheap one that like just doesn't it doesn't work.
My housemate's got one similar thing. Like, it stays in the garage, and like every now and again she'll get it out and try and make it work, but yeah, no,
it's so hard. You're looking around for ages just to find like one thing, because like it's so magnified.
But hanging out with somebody who has a good telescope and knows how to use it is so cool.
Yeah.
I have an uncle who's like, that's his thing.
Really?
It's just his telescope, and
Whoa.
you like go to his place and he like pointed at all these different constellations and stuff, and like the one that really blew my mind is there's one of the stars that's quite bright in the night sky is actually like 6 stars clustered really close together, and they're all different colors.
Yeah,
it's called the jewel box.
Whoa.
And
Jewel box?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
He'll just point it at it, and he's like, yeah, it's a jewel box, and there's like a blue one, a pink one, a yellow one. Like, it's crazy.
I think I've seen that before, and I always wondered why it was changing color. So maybe that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Probably.
Damn.
Yeah.
So when you're not making music, how do you fill your time?
Dancing. I experiment a lot with dance. watching dances and copying them. Art as well. I want to do more of that, to be honest. But yeah, I think more so just working a lot and taking care of my cats.
And I see like your cover arts and all your music videos and stuff like that are very kind of artistic and I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Almost psychedelic.
Yeah,
even.
Psychedelic. That's the word. That's
You
the
know?
word. That's how I want it to be. Yeah.
I found it so cool. So who do you work with to put all that stuff together?
I edit everything pretty much.
Yep.
I just get like a videographer or a good friend that is keen to like video for me. And then I just kind of direct everything and say yes. Sometimes it's like very spontaneous as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't have a plan, and I just kind of let the universe take it away, and then see what happens. And a lot of the
kind of plan.
It's good fun. It's really it's fun seeing what comes out of that. It's like the Loving You music video. It's the one where me and Rahu are in front of the city. And we're like on a big hill, and there's like the city behind us, and it's just a one take.
Yeah.
So we just like randomly thought we were taking photos to promo it, and then we were just like, oh, why don't we just like try make the music video? Maybe like let's just see.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh yeah, this is a cool spot, and then it just started just chilling to the music, and then boom, it was like a one take wonder, and we just used that for the music video. It was perfect.
Especially with your style of editing. It really doesn't matter too much kind of what you're filming because it's just the energy of the subjects in the shot and mixed with the music, mixed with the effects that you put on it and stuff like that. Like your music videos, when you boil them down, are like, now that I hear you say that, they're basic and yet they have so much life. You know?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it is in the editing process, just like chucking all this stuff on there to make it look sick.
Try that, see how that looks, try something else. I know, I'm the same. I'm like, because I'm still learning I've had to learn all the software for like this podcast and all that kind of stuff. And in the beginning, you feel like a fish out of water. It's like there are so many buttons, there are so many tabs. It's like, what do they mean? But then, like, it's also exciting because then there's unlimited possibilities.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Like learning a language, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel especially with video editing, like, there's no better feeling than having an idea of what you want to happen and figuring out how to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then you get it and you're like, holy shit, I fucking did that.
Or the best is making something by accident that turns out
Yeah. For sure.
That's been every single video that I've made, I reckon.
Yeah, that's dope.
Not sure how, but
cool.
fuck, that's sick. I always for some reason, I always find that I get like if I've got a certain video or like a cut or a transition and a song playing, most of the time they line up really nicely without really even trying. Like I'll just put it there with the idea of, on this drop it's gonna switch, and then I'll put it there, and then all of a sudden I watch it through and it just works.
Just does.
Yeah.
How I didn't.
Someone's looking out for you, buddy.
So cool. Yeah.
On that note, are you a bit of a spiritual person?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your kind of approach to spirituality and life? I know that's a very big question, but we've got time.
I guess I feel like the universe is all around us. The universe, God, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like all religions to me, because I grew up, my mom's very Catholic.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that. But I never fully felt connected. I think Jesus is sick. I think some of the stories in the Bible are so cool. I think a lot of the religions are like basically the same thing. It's a faith that there's something greater than us, which I think is beautiful, and I don't doubt that. I really do believe that there is something greater than us, but I feel like it's within us all. We're all part of that. We're all part of
everything.
The universe. Yeah.
Well, if you break it down to like the smallest possible, let's just call them atoms.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are. We are all made up of the exact same components.
Yeah.
You know, and not even just us. Everything that we see, everything on this planet is made up of the same thing, just combined in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about it like that, it's like, it really blows my mind how we have, like, number one, this separation between people, you know,
Yeah.
based on superficial things like race or
Yeah.
heritage or anything like that. And then again, how we have this separation between animals and humans. They're one and the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
But now we've given ourselves the different titles.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all just souls, really.
Yeah.
Like the body is just our shell.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot about trees and kind of how intelligent plant life is over the last couple of months. And like you might already know this, but when I learned that trees communicate to each other and with their offspring through the mushroom networks underground,
Yeah.
that blew my fucking mind.
Oh, same.
You
I
know?
recently learned about that
Yeah.
too.
The
Yeah.
Magic Fungi,
Yeah.
Fantastic Fungi on Netflix.
Have you
Oh,
seen
Drew,
that?
no. I've been
watch
recommended it though. I have to watch
Yeah,
it.
you have to.
Yeah, for sure. I've been reading a book. It's about the communication of trees. So that's where I
Okay,
got it
wow.
from. Yeah, it's really, really dope.
They send like nutrients to their offspring and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff as well.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast last week about like the intelligence of trees, and one of the things that they were doing is they were testing like a natural response of trees in terms of like against pests and things like that. So they tested a bunch of different ways to trigger that. Obviously one was to put, say, like a caterpillar on the tree, see how it responded. Another one was to put a caterpillar on another tree and see how a tree, like say a kilometer away, responded. And then the third test that they did, they played sounds of caterpillars chewing at the trees and they responded in the exact same way.
Whoa.
They're so intelligent.
Yeah, they are.
That's got to be like vibration, hey.
Oh, 100%.
Oh man,
Yeah.
they're high vibes. Like
They're high
trees,
vibing.
trees are just amazing. I remember my first psychedelic trip ever. I went straight towards nature. It was
It,
my
like, grounds
savior.
you.
It
Yeah.
felt so nice to be around them. That was when I first realized how powerful their energy is.
Yeah.
They're so pure. They're so pure.
I know. Their only motive is to survive. But on that note, we are about to head to the first interlude. Really appreciate it, guys. If you're getting value from this, if you're enjoying yourself, I want you to please just take a quick screenshot and post it wherever you want. Send it to someone special. Share it with a friend, because we're trying to get a really good message out to you guys. We put a lot of work into this podcast. So help us out a bit. Share our message. So we'll see you guys in a second. Peace and love.
Woo.
Awesome. Welcome back,
Sick.
everybody.
Good to be here.
If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to notice that we have morphed. And now we're all matching in
Purple
the
gang.
purple Astro hoodie from
Yeah.
AnarchyLabel.com. Go get yours. They're so fucking beautiful, so fucking lush. The best hoodie you'll ever wear, and that's I'm not just saying that either. Like
Straight
it's
facts.
just the way it is.
We do get that a lot though, and it's very uplifting. Like I love to hear that the effort that we've put into it, you know, is appreciated.
Yeah. And they really are, and like you can tell that it's gonna stand the test of time.
Hell yeah.
So we've got a gig coming up in Brightside in Brisbane.
Yeah, Brightside,
Yes.
23rd
Valley.
of October this month.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that's next Saturday now.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
So that's a single release for a track of yours that's coming out.
Yes, it's called Eternity.
And does that come out on the 23rd?
No, so that'll be a few weeks after.
That's fine though,
Awesome
because
way to
it's
be
going to be
hyped.
going through everybody's head. So by the
Yeah.
time it comes out, they'll just be itching to hear it
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Awesome way to build hype for it too, because you can play like you can use your gig footage to promote the song that's coming as well.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure.
Yeah, and well, we've got another person joining us as well, Eris.
Eris?
Eris.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's
Eris.
a really cool vibe. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what she's
Oh,
like live.
Same. She's a really beautiful voice as well.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
got lots
Yeah.
of energy, but like kind of, she's just bold. You know,
Yeah,
she's
it's
bold.
like grungy kind of.
Yeah, I like it.
It's cool.
I really get around it. So, is this your first headline show?
This is gonna be my third headline show, but my first headline show with a band.
Yes.
And probably like the first that I've put like this much effort into.
Yeah, awesome.
Very excited for this one. I think it's gonna be one of my best performances as of yet.
We're absolutely honoured to be jumping up there with you as well.
Oh, I am.
Super, super, super excited.
And maybe if we, because after this, to give context for everyone listening, after this, we're all going to jump in the live room, just start making some music and hopefully do some work together. So if we figure some shit out today, maybe you might be getting up on a V.BLVQ set.
Yeah,
bit of a warm up.
We've got possible news coming soon about something along those lines. So that would be cool if we get something cooking.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Man.
That'd be dope.
Straight up. So that is the 23rd of this month
October.
at the Bright Side in Brisbane. If you are a Queenslander, make the trip. That was like half trek, half trip. Make the trip gang.
And it's such a good time. Like, I just want to say this out here to the people that are have been on the fence about coming to a gig. It's not even just the performance, it's the energy that surrounds the evening. You come to this and we all hang out and we all have such a good time, and it's just loving the fucking air. Once you come to a gig, I promise you'll come to most of them. And that's kind of what we're seeing as well.
Once you go black, you'll never go back.
Oh,
that's cool.
We're going to use that for some promo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
So before we stepped off to the interlude, we're in a little bit of a...
Can I interject? I've
Yeah,
got
go
something
for
to
it.
ask just kind of along this topic. So you said that you supported Janae Ayuko.
Yes.
How did that come about? Because she's a massive name.
Yeah,
That's
I know, right? I
amazing.
was super lucky to get that one. It was the producer of my first EP that had the connections. So that's how I got that gig. Yeah.
Mad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
incredible. Like, I've been listening to her for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, true.
How big
Yeah,
was your
she's
set at that
amazing.
point?
I had a half hour, I think, 15 minutes, 15 or half an hour. I
Yeah.
can't remember. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
But
it's-
you had enough
hectic.
songs, like you had a bunch of
Yeah.
songs written, like... Because
Yeah.
if you've been writing for a long time, you've got a pretty big bank.
The bags
Yeah.
full.
So when,
Yes.
because I know we've had the kind of conversation, Reese and I, about the point in time for a musician when you start to really hit those quality barriers, you know, like, and really start to step up into like a professional sound. When do you think that happened for you as an artist?
I think I was really lucky when I first kind of began. I think because of the busking and just getting my name around, it was really easy to find producer. So that guy was called Wayne the Wizard.
Yeah.
Amazing producer. He was actually part of the group Random that it was X Factor, the first X Factor, I think,
really?
2005.
Shit.
Yeah. So he had such a cool vibe. Maori, he really loved reggae and R&B and soul, and so we really connected. Him and his family were just so beautiful. And he was very professional, obviously, and he had some good connections as well. So it was really amazing to have that from such an early stage. Yeah.
No, that
And
makes sense.
I think now I'm just going a little bit more DIY, and I'm producing as well myself and working with other producers, and also getting into the live music scene a bit more and getting to know instrumentalists. So I'm gonna start putting that into my music, which has always been such a dream, having that live sound, live drums.
Different
live
perspectives
guitar.
to add like their 2 cents to your sound as well. You know, that's what I've liked about our sessions. Someone just starts playing a riff, and then all of a sudden everyone is doing something in their own lane, and then you've just made something out of nothing, you know?
Yeah.
It just fascinates me how often it comes together, and at the end of it you're like, that was a sick jam. Like,
Yeah.
that was a sick little...
Whatever it
whatever
was.
we were doing, yeah. It works out
Yeah.
way more often than it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you think music and the arts tie into kind of your spiritual perspective? I suppose they go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I feel when I do music, it really feels like a spiritual experience. Like,
Yeah.
it feels psychedelic, like just being in that space of creating, because I don't really think it's not even it's co-creation. It feels, when you're really in that flow state, it's almost like a lot of the melodies and lyrics are coming from somewhere else. You're okay. It's okay.
I know what you
Yeah,
mean. And
yeah.
it's like when you try and think about it too much is when you fuck up. You know, you've almost just got to let the music
Yeah.
communicate through you.
Yeah, that's so true. I've dealt with a lot of like self-criticism over the years. Like a lot of the earlier stuff, I've had like this habit of just like making the music and then like hating it and then like just putting it out there.
Life
and
as
just
a
being like,
creative.
oh, yeah. So it's been nice just kind of accepting like my past selves.
Yeah.
And being happy about the improvement and where
You get a
it's going.
timeline of all your different stages.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Do you find you go back and listen to your early music much?
Not really sometimes. I think I have to more so that I can communicate with the band about the songs. Because it's always been a dream to be able to reimagine the songs because they grow over the years. Like your relationship to the song grows and you can interpret like what you wrote better like later when your skills have developed more and stuff. So
Every time I go back and listen to like early stuff that I had made, I always have a moment where I'm like, I was writing that then for me to hear this now.
yeah, dude, same.
Crazy,
Sometimes it's like talking to my future self,
Yeah,
but I didn't
100%.
realize it.
And it
Yeah,
didn't
that's
because
whack.
like in that moment when I was writing it, I don't remember exactly like what I was thinking to make me write a certain lyric,
Yeah.
but it didn't mean what it meant to me now, but it meant what it means to me now is so much more important and so much more influential than whatever made me write it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
I
I
love
totally get what
music.
you mean. It's so trippy. Hey, it's
craziness.
it's amazing.
It's definitely kind of cringe though. Like I can't go back too
yeah,
often.
same.
Can't go back
Same,
too often.
yeah.
But-
I think it's
lol.
creativity in general though, because I know we've had conversations like everything that I've made back then, whether it's, graphic design work or, clothing pieces I've made, at the time you're so chuffed with what you've created. And then you look back on it, even, 6 months down the line, especially in our like stage of life where every week is a new stage of growth. Like you look back just 6 months or a couple of years and it's like, fuck, what was I thinking?
100%.
Yeah.
It's exciting though. And like you're going to
it's
listen back
cool.
to this podcast in 12 months time and be like, wow, who is she?
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that when so a couple of episodes ago we did a bit of a recap because we'd reached 25 like quarter century episodes. And the first episode we did was I was the guest essentially for that episode. And listening back to the stories and stuff that I was telling and just where I was in that moment, I was like, fuck, that's a child.
Yeah.
God,
And it wasn't even that long ago.
Just over 5 months ago.
Yeah.
It was like a
Sometimes
lifetime.
I feel like that even like 5 minutes ago. Why did I say that? What?
Idiot.
Yeah.
Damn.
yeah.
Oh, that's life as a human though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as soon as we start to take ourselves too seriously, that's when everything falls apart.
Yeah, that's so true. Damn.
So
Oh,
back
enjoy
on the topic of psychedelics, we kind of touched on before we took off to the interlude, because I feel like it's a bit of a taboo subject. But I firmly believe it's something that every person should be open to experiencing it at one point throughout their life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even just like I've got a little bit of a story of when I started kind of microdosing. I was a very emotionally flatline person. I didn't get upset. I
Damn.
wasn't overly happy at any given stage. And I started microdosing. At this point, I'd never taken psychedelics. At this point, I thought, oh, one mushroom and you're a psycho for the rest of your life. Just like the majority of people
Damn.
think.
Yeah.
So I started microdosing, and then the first 2 weeks were just insane ups and downs. Every 5 minutes I'm like a different human being. And then once it like leveled out, I was like, oh, this is what life's about.
Yeah.
I was more in tune. I started reading, and this is like literally when the accumulation, like for everyone who's listening to this podcast, you know me as I am now, but I was a different person before I had my first experiences with psychedelics and stuff. And it's made me a much better person all round.
Yeah.
I definitely
Sure.
register a change after every trip that I've had. Like I almost not fixated, but like there's almost like a topic of the trip.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I feel a certain way. Like
You've
either
accomplished something.
way more confirmed if I was like on the fence about something. And I know some people do go into trips with the topic already. And it's never been like that for me. I just kind of like, oh, that's what we're doing tonight.
Yeah,
Sweet.
true.
And then
Cool.
there'll be like a vibe of it. And then after it, you're just like, yeah, no, this is how I feel about this.
Yeah, it's like it's a therapy session.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like a full on like, yeah, because it connects like new parts of the brain and stuff. So it's
and it actually it starts a process called neurogenesis, which is basically the creation of new cells and the killing off of damaged cells. But yeah, the creation of new brain cells. So it is very, very beneficial. We don't get neurogenesis from many things in life, you know, especially after the age of like 25 or so, when your brain's still growing, but at a much slower rate. So to have like a substance that is relatively harmless, you know, unless you've got like tendencies to be for psychosis already, it's relatively harmless. And it allows you to kind of find your spiritual self, because there's a deep lacking of spirituality, I think, in modern society. You know, we used to have our religion was everything.
Yeah.
You know, now we've almost gone the complete other end of the spectrum where, you know, separate yourself from all religion, all spirituality. I'm a physical being living in a meta world. What's in front of me is what's real type thing. Whereas like there's a certain peace that comes from knowing that there is a greater goal that's being fulfilled in the planet, and I'm a little speck along the timeline. You know, but that's also scary if you want to think about it that way. It means you can feel insignificant.
Your problems mean nothing.
Yeah.
Which is like fulfilling
so
in a way.
It's
good.
humbling.
Yeah,
seriously.
that's the word I was looking for. Humbling.
Yes.
And that's super important. I feel, especially in a society that like, I feel like ego is a lot of people's biggest problem. Is like unchecked egos and stuff. And stuff like psychedelics can really start helping you, you know, like work through some of those things. Like you might not even know that you're an egotistical person, and that's maybe why you feel like some people maybe don't like you, but you have no idea. You're not programmed to think inward like that. And then you break down these barriers, and all of a sudden all you can do is think inward for the space of like 4 to 8 hours. You're gonna come out of that a very, very different person.
What do you guys like at spending time by yourself?
Very, very good. Probably too good.
I really like spending time with myself. I think I want to spend more time with myself, and I think in the past I couldn't handle it, but I think now I'm good.
What do you mean by you couldn't handle it?
I don't know, I just always wanted to be with people. Like it was, I was drinking a lot of wine during those days. There was a lot of stuff I had to like, I was covering things up at that stage in my life. That was maybe like 4 years ago. But now it's very recent, like the past maybe like 6 months have been really me taking the courage, like the courageous steps to unravel like the parts of myself that I don't like or that I just sweep under the rug. Memories that have taken way too much like importance in my head that have been difficult for me to let go. It's just been a lot of healing, I guess, and going into the dark sides without like judging myself so much, because I think every time I would have emotions that would come up, I would be mad at myself even more, like, don't feel this way, like you shouldn't feel. And I was just like listening to the devil on my shoulder way too much.
Wow. Because there's lots of people that feel guilty for feeling a certain way because, you know, we live a very privileged life. You know? Even in the lowest kind of rungs of society in a country like Australia, we're extremely privileged. You know? So there's and it's partly ingrained into us as well. I know especially with men, it's like, you know, you shouldn't feel upset, or you shouldn't doubt yourself. You should be brave, confident. You should just take the world head on because you're a man.
Yeah.
And so and that's like a trap for a lot of people. And luckily the conversation is changing rapidly around all that. Like we were just talking about mullets for mental health outside. I don't know if 100%. I don't know if I support the aesthetic, but I love the cause.
I heard they're like banning it in schools.
Mullets?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of schools that that wouldn't have flown at our school at all.
Way.
They would have shaved it off your head.
Yeah,
They would have
sure.
pinned you down and shaved it off you.
Yeah, they used to literally just send people across the road, and they had like a deal with like a barber shop.
To just cut kids' hair.
Yeah, if you didn't have a suitable
Damn.
haircut, and you don't get a choice, then it's just a 3 all over.
Whoa.
It's facial hair too. A couple of times at school, like the fucking deputy head would just come up to me and put a razor in my hand.
Yeah.
And like no shaving cream because they want it to fucking suck. They want it to hurt.
So you're getting rashes.
So you come to school and it like you don't ever do it at school again.
True.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's no.
But at the
Yeah,
same
that's
time,
hectic.
some schools,
Yeah.
well, like we went to like an all boys grammar school, so
True.
it was more the stricter spectrum. But I feel like it made us who we are, and there's nothing I'd want to change about that.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. And I miss school a lot. I'm one of those people that during school I was like, fuck, school's place a fucking hole. And then as soon as I left, I was like, no, put me back.
Take me back.
Put me back.
Yeah.
So Tyra, we've got about 5 minutes left on this app, and we've got a little bit of a question that we kind of ask our guests, and I want to know if you were to kind of go back to like when you were 7, when you were first getting kind of started in this music journey, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give yourself back then?
Oh, damn.
There's no rush.
That's a hectic one. Hey, there's a lot I could... I've always thought about this question. Let me think. I think, don't overthink.
Don't overthink shit.
That's like the really important one. I don't know. I can't think right now of
Don't
a
overthink.
deeper one, but that's, but like, I feel like that's something that I've struggled with a lot, that I don't need to. It's so unnecessary. It's so silly. There's just no point. It's just so much better. You can free yourself at any time, but just stop thinking too much. Just chill out and be present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's beautiful. That lends itself to so many underlying worries as well. Just take out the top. Don't overthink shit.
Yeah.
I always said to myself when I was trying to get through that like as soon as you stop, you'll feel better and go further.
Yeah.
Just everything you
get
want
out
is
of your
on the
own
other
way.
side of it.
Dude. That's literally, I've been in my way for so many years. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how the universe works like that as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's all in our subconscious mind and what you believe in and what you believe you can.
Yeah. What you believe you deserve is what you'll get.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially in our sort of industries as well, though. I feel like, the universe does it to you on purpose, because for us to become the people we're meant to be, we have to get through it. But to get through it, we have to go through it to learn. To learn how to not do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this has been amazing, Tyra. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really loved this. This was really cool.
Yeah, should we make some fucking music now?
Hell yeah.
Awesome, guys.
23rd of October at the Bright Side. You can get your tickets at our Instagram account. So mine is V.BLVQ.
I dream of Tyra.
Everything will be in the show notes anyway, so you can click the link no matter what you're listening on. I'll say it one more time. If you enjoyed this episode, take a quick screenshot, send it to your best friend. We really love that you guys come back week after week. We love doing this podcast. We're learning so much. We love to meet amazing people like Tyra and all our previous guests. So we want to be doing this for as long as possible. Much love, guys. Thanks for tuning in again.
Brought to you by Electric Sugar Studios.
Boom, boom. Cha-ching! Let's go.
Fuck yeah. Oh, let's do this. Let's get this car. Oh, yeah, let's go.